Hello, my name is Tj-01, real name Ashwin Biswal. I live in Bhubaneswar, which is in the state of Odisha, a place in India. I am native to a village called Kantia, near Nimapada. District Puri in again Odisha, India. This channel doesn't have big production or much budget, but but this channel is going to be a significant for your life. This contains my entire life's research, my life experiences, and the struggles I faced, the struggles I'm still facing, and the circumstances that I'm currently trapped in. This channel is going to shed light on the psychology of criminals, how to identify them, and to prevent circumstances like mine. So today is 7th June 2025. Well, I'm not that good of an artist, but this is going to be the sun. And around it there are planets. This is Mercury. This would be Venus. This is our Earth. But the relevant on this axis would be the Moon. This will be our Mars. This is the Jupiter. And this is the Saturn. Why only up to Saturn? Well, these are the relevant planets according to astrology. that I recently came across. The sun is the governor of our solar system. It governs everything, all the planets, and all the functions related to those planets, and sustains life on Earth, in this place where life proliferated. Life went through evolution, through different stages to lead to where we are right now. We went from minor single-celled organisms into complex multicellular organisms. Who are made of atoms at the most basic unit. It led to molecules, organic molecules, then cell, then organs, then the entire human body. But where did the human psyche came from? According to astrology, that would be the solar system itself, which serves as the psyche of the world. This star at the center of our solar system and the five planets, along with a satellite of Earth, these constitute the human psyche, depending on which point you took birth. Now the sun it makes the planets move in an anti-clockwise revolution around it. Every planet goes in an anti-clockwise manner around the sun. That is the regulatory power of the star. Its gravitation and its heat, the energy emanating from its gravitational pull is what keeps this solar system on its track. But to balance the forces that are at play here, one planet on the second orbit moves in a clockwise manner. This is the planet which is relevant for our research. The planet called Venus. This is the planet which is relevant for understanding the psychology of a criminal. Now, why would that be? In astrology, the positions of these planets at the time of your birth determine the course of your life. It's your life is mirroring these planets, these giant floating orbs in the universe around the sun. Now, every planet in our solar system follows the influence of the sun's mighty forces and follow its direction. But Venus, the only planet which defies this governance. Now, these planets, along with Sun and Moon, these planets, along with Sun and Moon, serve as channelers of energy. The Sun emanates its energy, which is received by these planets. Now, these planets, these giant floating orbs in the vastness of the space, receive the frequency from the Sun. And then give off their own energies. These energies are in turn picked up by Earth and everything that exists on it. Now these planets, the frequencies that are received by Earth is responsible for everything that occurs on Earth. The fate of Earth, the consequences of these frequencies determine the life and its progression on this planet. So, evolving from a single cell organism to complex animals is also due to the frequencies received by these individual units. The energies emanating from these 7 heavenly bodies constitute the electromagnetic spectrum. From gamma to micro and the visible spectrum which gives us our eyesight. Well, not the eyesight, that is given by rods and cone cells present in the eyeballs, but that's for color. But the visibility of the eye. Now the humans can be considered as organic radios. Radios were primitive precursor devices to modern mobile phones or televisions that were used. The first devices that were able to channel these electromagnetic spectrum frequencies. They were called radio because they received the radio waves. Humans as such at the time of birth according to the placement of the planets, like one is placed here, Mercury is placed here, and Jupiter is placed here. So according to the positioning they receive, frequencies as a flux, which serves as the beginning point of life. It continues and then meets its end, which is death. So now suppose a planet is at this point and it's progressing towards this direction. The planet is going to drag the person on Earth towards similar progression. So the planet or heavenly body like sun and moon will drag this person parallelly on similar course. Now the positions of planets around the sun creates a cosmic matrix. This is the nature of the solar system. At this particular time. Now as the planets move around, they change the nature of this matrix. Parallel to this, when you are born on Earth, that particular point is going to serve as your beginning. From there on, whatever the planets take course, that is how your life is going to be governed. And that is the psyche. That is the conscious mind, our consciousness, our personality, our nature, our traits. Now all these different planets have their own particular set of nature. Like the sun. Sun is like a leader. It moves all other planets around. kind of like a boss. So you're following Sun's orders. Sun is stable, Sun is full of heat, and that is its nature. The king, the leader. When people derive their attributes from this planet, they become leader themselves on the planet Earth. Then there's Mercury. Mercury is fast. It completes its revolution around the sun in less than a month. It makes the mind quick. It gives the mind its ability of being spontaneous, quick learning. There are a whole slew of other more relevant characteristics that Mercury provides, but for a beginner level or a toddler level, we are only going to go that far. Now, among all these planets, other planets play relative roles in the life cycle of a person, but the one that is relevant to us and our study is Venus. The opposers, is that a word? The rule breakers, the planet that doesn't follow the law that the sun is establishing. So this planet which goes against the law, the law of the not universe, the solar system or the cosmic mind of a person. Now every person has 9 planets. The Saturn and the Mars, they have like ghost planets for them. So the 5 planets, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, these 5 planets along with Sun, Moon and ghost planets which have the characteristics of Mars and Saturn, who are known in Indian astrological calculations as Rahu and Ketu. In the West, they are called North Node and South Node of the Moon. These are imaginary celestial bodies. They do not occur in the solar system, but they are present just for calculations, kind of like zero. Now, zero is nothing, but it is there to facilitate the calculations in mathematics. So, these are just for calculating specific functions. These planets determines specific rules and the fate and destiny of a person. Now let's see Venus characteristics. Now Venus is a planet that goes clockwise around the sun. All other planets move in an anti-clockwise manner. So when you obtain your characteristics from the planet Venus, you acquire the characteristics of opposing the law of the cosmos. You want to go against the law. You want to do amoral things. You want to do criminal things. So people who derive their frequencies from Venus have criminal attributes. Now many on YouTube would say otherwise. They would say Venus is a very significant planet. It gives wealth and blesses the person with wealth. But is wealth a blessing? Because in Indian mythology, Venus planet is called Shukra. And Venus particles are called Shukranu. Shukranu, which in English or in the West would be called sperm. Shukranu. So hence Venus's association with sex. In Greek mythology or Roman mythology in which Venus is present, Venus is a goddess. So the planet Venus has female attributes. Another thing is it's a female planet. So people who are deriving energies from Venus have feminine characteristics. Now, what are feminine characteristics? Are they effeminate? Are they gay? Or things like that? No, they are males, masculine in the body and in the mind also, but their characteristics are that of a female. Like the characteristics that were associated with females according to Indian scriptures are things like playing victim, showing or pretending oneself as innocent. Now, where is that coming from? Well, masculine signs are more aggressive. They use their physical self more, power, and things like that. But female characteristics or traits include manipulation, gaslighting, those kind of things. So you're not using your strength, you're using manipulation to gain leverage. Like if a masculine energy is exerting itself on a Venus person, so aggression, then Venus will say, Venus will play as the victim. So this person is a bad person because it's showing aggression towards. Now that makes Venus actually the victim. But they are also the ones who commit unlawful things, crimes. So when you oppose them, these criminals try to pretend as innocent. How that pretension comes into play, I'll explain further with examples. Now, other thing Venus is associated with is water. People who derive energies from Venus love water. They are mostly around water bodies. Pools, showers, beach. Well, there's a lot of other energies on the beach, but these people love water. Water is their element. Now, how does that influences the personality of people who derive their energy from Venus? Well, they have the flow of water as a characteristic. This is an obstacle, a rock. this is a problem. Why I call it a problem? Well, let's assume that in life people face problems, and there is this flow of river. This is their life, and this is a problem, the rock. So how would a Venus person maneuver around this problem? So that gives into the psyche of a Venus person, how they tackle with problems. Well, they are going to push forward. They are going to try to topple this rock. That seems admirable. Not giving up against the enemy and trying to subdue it. So they will go head on into the problem. How good this attribute is, we will see further, maybe in further videos. Venus is also related to the sexual organs, since it's connected to sex and sperm. So sperm and ovum. Ovum is the female egg. And sperm is the male. Cell unit. Which is used for fertilizing. So the sperm in the sense of a person's psyche who is deriving its energy from the Venus will have the characteristics of a sperm or the egg based on their gender. So the males are going to be like sperms. Now what do sperms do? Well, they are necessary for fertilizing the egg and continuing the cycle of birth. But that isn't what the sperm is thinking. That's the big picture. Now, a person looking at this while having sex will think that I am fertilizing the woman, but the sperm, that's not what is going through the sperm's mind. Do sperms have mind? Well, they are unicellular. So cannot form thinking or cognitive abilities they have, but they have energies, and energies have characteristics. Now why do I say that? The spectrum, electromagnetic spectrum, it has seven frequency, seven energies, and such seven abilities. Like ultraviolet will give you night vision, or infrared will give you infrared sense. X-rays are going to penetrate through your body and make your bones visible on a graph. Microwaves can irradiate the water molecules present in the food and cook it. So these are different kinds of natures or traits that a person is going to inherit when he takes in these frequencies of energies. Now every person is going to receive all of these, but it's going to be in various concoctions, various degrees. Like imagine you have, everyone is given same ingredients in same amount: butter, bread, egg, maybe mashed potatoes, or whatever you eat. In India, that would be the dough and salt and water. So everyone is given the same amount, but they are going to use differently. Some is going to use more salt, some are going to use lesser salt, more sugar or less sugar, more flour or less flour, or something in between. And that would give distinct taste to the same dish prepared by different people. So that is how the human psyche is formed. We receive different variables of these 7 energies, and that is how we get our overall personality. So we are like the cosmic dish prepared with different amounts of ingredients. Now what do I mean by that? Like, let's take some traits like rage or lust or greed and envy. So some people have more rage, some people have lesser rage, some people lust after more, some people do not have lust, some people are greedy, some people are frugal, some people are envious, and some are not so envious, or maybe not envious at all. So these are various amounts, and that's what gives the distinct personalities to humans. The one that is significant for me is the Venus one. Now Venus in Indian myths is Shukra, He was called Shukracharya or the teacher Shukra. Acharya is teacher. So, who was Shukra? Well, in the stories, the Shukra was the leader of demons. He commanded or guided or brought them back to life. He always set the stage for demons to keep emerging or keep coming into the world, and these demons were decimated by the gods. Now demons want to take over, they want to rule, they want to take out the competition. Now why do I say competition? Well, sperms do that. Earlier I said what the sperms have in their minds, what their goal is. Well, the sperm's goal is to be the first one to enter the ovum. So the male wants to be the first to enter the female in any given environment. Like if you are in a school, there's a guy and there's a girl. Now the girl is going to say, look at me, how big I am, and how round I am, and how beautiful I am, and how much desirable I am. And she's going to just remain in that position. She's going to advertise herself. Now the guy is going to chase after that. Now there would be many guys with many different personalities trying to approach the girl, but the Venus guy, specifically the Venus guy, is all about that romance, sex, being first, because the first sperm is more likely to enter the egg. So anytime they are presented with anything that is feminine, they want to be the first. Like luxury, they want it. Money, they want it. Women, they want it at any cost. Fame, they want it. Food, finest cuisine, they want that. So basically anything there is, they want it. They want to be the first. They want to have that. And to get to that egg, all these are individual eggs. And to get to these eggs, what they have to do is take out the competition, all the other sperms. They are going to need to be the first. Anyhow, any means, just push through, because sperms do not have hands. Hands represent dexterity, capability, ability, problem solving. Those kind of characteristics come from hands. Apes were the first to get hands. Well, actually, not. There were pandas, raccoons, maybe some kangaroos are bipedal, marsupials, koalas, yeah. So, not the only ones, but so more developed your mind is, you will have digits, you will have hands, because before that, in the evolution line, animals only had legs. Before that, uh, arthropods had multiple legs. And before that, there were sperm like beings. What are sperm like beings? Like tadpoles, worms, things that do not have hands or legs, they just have this shape. Now, if you tilt this, you will get this shape. This is the aerodynamic shape in the universe, in the presence of gravity, of course. In space, everything is round. On Earth, in gravity, everything is going to take this shape, a water droplet, being a symbol of Venus. Water stands for Venus. So everything in the universe is connected like this. And why is that? Well, because these energies, this is Mercury, this is the Sun, and this is Mercury going in anti-clockwise in this way, and this is Venus coming in clockwise around the Sun. Now this is the point where there is a lot of attrition between these planets, a lot of friction, lot of rubbing, not rubbing, well, just a lot of stretching. So suppose Mercury is carrying this aura or energy field. Now everything has an aura. Like the Sun, it is transmitting rays like this, like this, like this. So here it gets desaturated, but at the emerging point, the rays are very closely packed and they are dense and they form a matrix, a plasma, super irradiated hot plasma that serves as the aura of the Sun, or its solar flare. Well, not solar flares, those are minute activities on the surface of Sun, but like the heat, you don't have to reach the surface of the Sun to get burned. Just getting close will completely incinerate you. That's the aura, that's the expanse of its gravitational pull. Like the sun's gravitational force, it extends to the furthest ninth planet. Is Pluto still a planet? I don't know. So that's the extent of its energy. That is its aura. So Venus actually doesn't have any aura. It thrives on other people's aura. They steal. When it's passing side by side to the Mercury, it's draining, sucking off its energy. So what does that reflect in the human psyche? Well, this is called thieving. Well, it's not called thieving, but I am calling it thieving. They are stealing, they are stealers, they are thieves. They like to take from others. They do not have anything of their own. They do not have their own energy, their own aura. So they thrive by stealing energy. These are energy vampires. So Venus people are energy thieves. They will take away your energy, make you all drained. It will change your appearance. Like if you're active, then you're an attractive personality. You're getting everything. But when Venus people come into play in somebody's life, they completely drain that person. They want to take all the assets. They want everything he has taken. Now let's understand this characteristics with another what should I say, symbol, another thing that represents Venus, that thing being wife. Venus in Hinduism, in the Vedic period, our ancestors, the sages, wise sages, they called Venus as having the traits of a wife. Now, why is that? Well, Venus sees, if we are considering Venus as the wife, the Venus sees every other as a potential husband. Sperm 1, sperm 2, sperm 4. That's what they are. Psychologically, in the mind, they have the characteristics of a sperm. If you are getting what I'm saying, this is the egg. This is also Venus. This is also wife. So this is sperm, and this is also husband. So all the people are potential husbands, but among them there is one superior sperm, and that is the one sperm that is going to impregnate this egg. I'm not talking about biology here, I'm talking about the psychology. The Venus person has the attribute of a wife. Now all the other people around are kind of like potential husbands. So what is a husband's job? Well, the husband goes out of the house and does work, uses his skills, his knowledge, his intellect, his abilities to gather things like hunt or collect fibers, roots during the caveman ages. So husband used to go out and bring in money. Money, another thing that Venus wants. So now whatever the husband is bringing home, you're supposed to give it to the wife, and the wife is going to do what the wife needs to do to sustain the family, to sustain the house. Like you brought in radish, so now the wife is going to pickle it, use salt, brine, sugar solutions to preserve that radish and use it. So managing abilities. Venus has managing abilities, managers. Managers can also be other planet abilities, but Venus is like the homemaker. So the wife. Now every other person is like a husband. So whatever you're doing in life, this is person A, this is person B. So if the person B is a scientist and he is trying to invent something or discover something, now it doesn't matter. The person A, who's a Venus person, has the characteristics of a wife in the mind. Psychologically, he's a wife. So now he wants whatever the invention is. You have to give it to the wife. You cannot lay claim to your invention. You discovered something, you have to give credit to this person. You prepare food, you have to give food to him. This can be seen in the criminals who ask for protection money. If you are existing in our town, you are like a husband. So you have to give money to the wife person or these gang people. Now Venus people, they always move in gangs, a cluster. They are never single. Why? Because they have the characteristics of sperms. Sperms move collectively. They are always going together in waves like water. Now only one of them is going to reach. What happens to others? Now the one that reached its goal is the best sperm, but the one who wasn't able to reach now has to die. So only the superior people are going to live, and people who are inferior or seen as inferior by this superior person, or the wife people. It's like a wife uh, choosing from an array of potential candidates a good groom. So whoever is the superior, best of them bunch, that's whom she is going to marry. But what happens to everyone else? Well, they have to go in various different ways. You are not worth it, so you'll have to die. In sperm's case, you are not able, so you will have to leave the job. That's fair. But suppose you belong to Nazis. You are a Nazi from the pure Aryan race. Well, we Indians have nothing to do with that. It was Hitler's idea of Aryan race. I'm an Indian, if you do not know. And then there were Jews. So according to Nazis, Jews are inferior sperms and Nazis are superior. So only Nazis get to live and the Jews have to die. That's what a Venus person's mind is. A Jew has to go. Like in an evolution line, you're a Tasmanian devil. Oh shit, I can't remember the name. Tiger dog, what species was it? Okay, let's take dodo. Dodos were birds, flightless birds. They were flightless, right? They belong to the pigeon species. They are now extinct. So the pigeon were better. They were better adapted. So they get to live while the dodos were not. So they became extinct, or like dinosaurs. They had to go because they were not better adapted. But mosasaurs or smilodons, they were better adapted. So they lived. They were better. They were superior. They were Ubermensch. So in their psychology, they are the superior ones, and everyone else is inferior to them. If they serve purpose, like husband providing money and stuff, then they can live. But if they refuse to give, then they have to go. The psychology of a Venus person. I used Hitler as an example for very specific reason, because Hitler was a Venus person. He obtained his energies from the planet Venus, and as such had the characteristics of Venus. White supremacists, Venus people, in our country there is a thing going on between Hindu and Muslims. So I don't want to say it, but you can see the parallels. there's Nazi, and there's Jews, there's white people, and then there's black people. So white people considered blacks as inferior, Nazis considered Jews, and Hindu and Muslims. I do not want to say it. So this racial discrimination, this comes from Venus ideologies. There are one kind of people, then there are 2, 3, 4. This one has white skin, this one has black skin, this one has yellow skin, this one has red skin. Aztec or something. So now the Venus person is going to see this, and he's going to determine which is better among all these. So one is better, like suppose the white is better, so all the other ones have to go. Those are not worth it. They have to serve these white people, or they will be executed. Those are your choices, because the wife is supposed to get whatever the husband has in the psychological realm, and also in the material realm also, because the wife gets like the half the money on divorce. So that's another characteristics. There are more, and I'm going to do videos on that later. It has been going on for so long now. Through these videos we will discover the Venus people and their characteristics. Now, who are these Venus people? These are the criminals. These are the banes of the society. These are the bad elements of the society. These are the problems that the world faces. There are good people and there are bad people. Good people can be multiple ones, but the bad people are always Venus. Well, actually Venus can be good. Let's say 90% of the Venus people are bad. There might be like 5%, very few Venus people who would be good. Now, how to know if they are good? Well, if the Venus person is involved in education, bad. Film industry, bad. Politics, bad. Crime, very bad. What else? Medical, there are also doctors, bad. So what is good then? Venus would be good if they are artists. That's their element. Venus is also related with the arts. Music, dancing, not dancing, but music, artists. Artists are all Venus people. You cannot be an artist without having Venus characteristics. So if a Venus person is involved in art, then that's more peaceful. If it gets into acting, then their bad side tends to come out. If they are in politics, very bad side comes up. If they are in medical, they are kidney stealers. They steal kidneys. But in artists, it's rather peaceful. Like Johnny Depp. He made a Pirates of the Caribbean movie series. That was bad. He was acting then. Now, why do I call it bad? It was fine acting. Well, it was fine acting. But the stories they got for the movies were actually stolen. I know that very well. I am a storyteller myself, so I know those stories were stolen. And these people, these actors and producers and directors involved in that series of movies, they were making it by stealing. I showed earlier how the psychology of a Venus makes them stealers, energy stealers, and in the real life, property stealers, intellectual properties, land properties, money properties, asset properties. They want it from others. But then, and he created problems for that beautiful actress. What was her name? She was an Aquaman. Amber Heard. That's the woman who should have won the case. Is it Heard or Heard? Heard. I don't know. Now, why do I say that? Because I have done research and I know what happened there. Now, after that case, Johnny Depp resorted to being an artist, and he was earning from that. Now, Pirates of the Caribbean came out. I can't remember when. Very early in the 2000s. Then there were no Pirates of the Caribbean movies, and the reason was because some kind of problem, some kind of trouble with Amber Heard. It was Amber Heard, and because of her, Johnny Depp wasn't able to make money or something. But that isn't what happened. That was a cover up. There were no more Pirates of the Caribbean movies because they didn't have the stories. They cannot create stories on their own. They have to take it from somewhere else. So since they were not getting any more Pirates of the Caribbean stories, there never was any other Pirates of the Caribbean movie. And similarly in Bollywood also, there was a comedy era. All these eras, they ended because they didn't have the stories. Stories come from different planets. Venus cannot create stories, Venus can only create art. Like actors. Actors are Venus. Directors are Venus. But writers are not Venus. So directors and actors cannot get stories. So they can never make movies like Pirates of the Caribbean. The only way they can make movies like that is if they steal it from somewhere. And that was the age, the 2000s, when computers were being hacked. So they obtained it from somewhere for free. I know where they get it from. They got it from India. Not India, an Indian. And I also know who. We'll continue this later on other topics regarding this. So I hope you'll return for these videos that I'm making. Not the best production, not the best visuals, and I'm not a good artist. But this channel, this information, you need it. If the world needs to thrive, it needs this research. So I hope I'll see you again. I am Tj-01, an Indian. And the way I made these videos, I think I'm a good storyteller.